Well, hello, beloved. I am Bishop Andy C. Luton. I'm delighted to come once more to you with my video lecture series on church leadership. As I have explained to you so many times before, this particular series is designed for persons who are involved in or are training for leadership in the context of the local church. More specifically, I have designed this curriculum for deacons, deaconesses, ministry leaders, auxiliary leaders, trustees, stewards, or any other persons who find themselves desirous of giving leadership in the local church context. Now, this lecture will conclude with questions at its end that will help you to fully prepare for an examination or review, if indeed that is the custom of your church. It is our hope and prayer that this material will be a benefit to you and that you will find it helpful and to assist you in being more effective in what God has called you to do. Now, having said that, let's get started. This lesson is entitled Important Dates of the Bible. The purpose of this lesson is to provide you with a brief overview and basic understanding of the major dates and events that appear upon the timeline of the Bible and the New Testament church. Now, let me advise from the beginning that this is not an extensive examination of history, but it is my hope that it will whet your appetite and cause you to seek more additional information on this particular topic. We begin with a period that is known as the ancestral period. This period dates back to some of the earliest figures who are named in the Bible and can be generally found in the book of Genesis. This time period is also known as the patriarchal period because it includes several figures who we call the patriarchs or fathers of the faith. Some of these figures would include Abraham, Noah, and even Jacob. The next period that we want to consider is the period that we call the period of the Judges. Now, this is an approximately 250-year period that begins around the year 1235 BCE and expires around the year 1000 BCE. This time period coincides with the book of Judges in the Bible. Characters that you would recognize from this period would be Samson, Gideon, Deborah, Ehud, or even Shamgar. This is a time when God chose judges for the people, and all of them were military people who fought against the enemies of Israel at the time. Now, beginning around 1000 BCE, we move into the period of the kings. Friends, it should be noted that this time period concentrates on the time when all 12 tribes of Israel operated as a united kingdom. There are three main figures for this period. They include King Saul, King David, and King Solomon. Now, after the rule of King Solomon, the kingdom of Israel divided between the north and south. This period is known as the divided kingdom, and it would last until the north is conquered by the Assyrians in 722 BCE, and the south, known as Judah, is conquered by the Babylonians in 587 BCE. The remainder of the Old Testament and intertestamental period is divided between the Persian period, which would last from 539 BCE to 332 BCE. This would be the period of Darius the king and would include the return of the Jews from Babylon. Beginning in 332 BCE and lasting to 167 BC, we find the period of Hellenism, which is dominated by a figure named Alexander the Great and his three generals that followed him. These generals divided the empire of Alexander and ruled as the empires of Antiochus, Seleucid, and Ptolemy. There is a period of Jewish independence here that lasts from 164 BC to 63 BCE. During this time, no foreign power ruled over the Jews. This period followed the Maccabean revolt, which took place in 167 BCE and included several descendants of Matthias Maccabee, who initiated the revolt against Antiochus. That would be Antiochus IV. Now, this lesson concludes with the beginning of the Roman period, which is begun in the year 63 BCE. With the rise of the Roman Empire, the Jews fall under the rule of Caesar and Rome, which sets the stage for those things that we find in the Gospels and the Bible and the life of Jesus Christ. Okay, friends, we have just completed the first of 2 lectures on important dates of the Bible. Here are your study questions for this particular lesson. I begin here. The oldest period of the Bible that we have studied is called what period? The period from 1235 BCE is known as what period? Third question, what are the dates of the United Kingdom? Fourth question, what period was dominated by Alexander the Great? And finally, in what year did the Roman Empire begin that set the stage for Jesus and the New Testament church? Listen, friends, I am Bishop Andy C. Luter, and I want to thank you for sharing these last several minutes with me. I pray that this material has been helpful, and I look forward to sharing with you part 2 of this particular study on important dates of the Bible. Remember, God loves you, and so do I.